Welcome back to AI Market Brief, where we slice through the week's data and drama faster than a GPU cluster at full tilt. Today's marquee matchup? An all-out showdown for your search bar. Because the future of AI is being written right inside your browser tab.
Think of it as our very own Game of Thrones episode. Remember Battle of the Bastards? Well, grab your popcorn. This week, it's the AI Battle of the Browsers, and every tech giant swinging for the Iron Throne of Inference.
And that spark is only the first arc, folks. Stay tuned as we dissect the mega mergers, welding the AI landscape into new power blocks, crunch the numbers on H1 2025's venture capital scorecard, decode the fresh courtroom firefights over AI copyright, beam the spotlight on the Global South's AI needs, and ask whether we're barreling toward a two-tier intelligence economy. Grab your coffee, subscribe, and hit the like button. This episode's stacked.
We'll cover the model wars a bit later, but that same model war just stormed a new battlefield, your browser. I'm calling it the battle for the browser, the fresh frontier in the AI platform wars where the browser itself becomes the interface to intelligence. And leading the charge?
Perplexity, the AI search startup, they jumped right in with their Comet browser, launched July. It's an AI-powered browser, a direct Chrome competitor, initially only available to their $200 a month max subscribers, though.
So premium access first.
Yeah, and it defaults to Perplexity's AI summary engine. You get synthesized answers, not just links. Plus, it has an assistant in a sidecar. It interprets web page content for questions or automation.
Having an AI reading over your shoulder, ready to help?
Kind of. The CEO, Aravind Srinivas, his stated goal is infinite retention. He wants it to be your main tool.
Ambitious. Keep the user locked in.
Totally. And not to be outdone, OpenAI is rumored to be prepping its own browser too, Chromium-based, the same foundation as Google Chrome. But this browser aims to have deep integration of a ChatGPT-style interface.
Yeah.
And AI agent products like their Operator concept, things that could autonomously complete tasks for you.
Like making reservations, filling out forms online.
Exactly, that sort of thing. And strategically, it's an attempt to bypass Google and get direct access to all that web search data for AI training.
And Google, they can't be happy about this.
Oh, definitely not. Google, of course, isn't standing still. They launched AI mode in search, built on Gemini 2.5 Pro, rolled out to all users in the US and India.
So continuing to bring better AI answers directly into the main search results.
Right. It provides synthesized answers to complex queries. It's a direct response to Perplexity and others.
But the challenge for Google is huge.
That's a grave understatement. These AI-driven, summary-first browsers threaten to strangle Google's click-based ad engine. If users never leave the summary screen, Google and every other click-dependent ad business will see its entire playbook rewritten by AI.
It's a fundamental conflict with their core business model. That's a tough needle to thread. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, look, this isn't just about better search or new browser. It's really about creating the operating system for the agentic web. Whoever controls that browser, they control the flow of user context, data intent, which is the essential fuel, right, for future autonomous AI agents.
So controlling the browser means controlling the AI's food source?
Right, on several levels. This rapid change raises a really important question, especially for you as a user. What about the data they collect? These AI browsers, they're processing huge amounts of information. Your browsing history, your searches, how you interact with pages, the content on the pages, and maybe even what you copy to your clipboard. So that creates pretty significant data privacy issues.
There's real anxiety around data privacy, how our sensitive info is handled, who it's shared with, and whether consent even matters. Perplexity's CEO is already hinting at using user data for premium ad targeting. And OpenAI has faced backlash over chat log retention previously. Another key player, Opera, is pursuing local data processing, but leaks and models accidentally spilling private training data remains a very real risk.
Absolutely. And regulators like GDPR and CCPA will need to move fast.
But let's pivot. Beyond the browser, it's not just browsing habits getting automated, but potentially whole workflows. That kind of autonomy in a browser, it naturally makes you wonder about other areas like core business software. Where else are we seeing this agentic shift taking hold in the enterprise?
Oh, it's permeating every level, really. We saw several key enterprise agent launches just this week. Amazon Web Services, AWS, announced its AI agent marketplace that will launch on July 15. Think of it like an app store for AI agents. Anthropic is a launch partner. It's a place businesses can go find ready to deploy AI workers. Into it, they put AI agents right into QuickBooks, automating payments, bookkeeping, and financial analysis. They claim it could save small businesses up to, 12 hours a month?
Wow.
Yeah, Cognizant launched its Agent Foundry that's focused on designing and deploying autonomous agents for really complex business processes, supply chain, customer service, you name it. And Adobe announced 10 new marketing agents, automated content creation, mapping customer journeys, analytics, and it all integrates with Microsoft Copilot.
Okay, let's zoom in on one specific that was launched on Wall Street: autonomous coding agents.
Goldman Sachs is piloting 100 plus Devon agents from Cognition AI, colleagues that plan, refactor, code, test, and deploy code, redefining software engineering.
But hype versus reality, in one stress test, Devin nailed just 3 of 20 tasks. 14 were flops. Autonomy is still aspirational.
Fair point. Most of these agentic deployments chiefly aim for faster releases and cost cuts, routing task automation to these agents, right?
Yes, generally, these gains look great on paper, but AI-generated code can introduce subtle bugs and security gaps if not vetted. You need seasoned engineers to operate and audit these systems, especially early on.
Absolutely, on the ROI side, Cognition's metrics are eye-popping. 10,000 developer hours saved on Angular upgrades, 16 times acceleration in large-scale infra migrations, and 90% code coverage maintained.
Impressive. With rigorous human oversight catching edge case failures, teams can pivot from routine chores to strategic architecture and problem solving.
Yeah.
And this agentic shift, it isn't happening in a vacuum, is it? It's fueled by huge amounts of money and this continued intense battle for the top talent. So, what's the big picture for the market look like connecting back to all this?
Well, financially, this week was monumental. NVIDIA hitting a $4 trillion valuation, becoming the world's most valuable public company. That just screams insatiable demand for computing power, those GPUs that drive AI. And the venture capital frenzy in the first half of 2025, also staggering. $165 billion poured into AI startups. That's 53% of all global VC money.
Wow, half of it.
Yeah, and in the US, it was even higher. 64% of investment went to AI. But it's not spread evenly. There's extreme capital concentration. Get this, 1/3 of all US VC dollars in the first half went to just 5 AI companies. Globally, 11 companies raised $1 billion or more each. That counts for $70 billion of the total. So money is flowing like crazy, but it's pooling right at the very top.
Tells you where the big bets are. We saw these king-making investment rounds. OpenAI is $40 billion, xAI is $10 billion, Anthropic's $3.5 billion. And the ongoing $500 billion Stargate project, which includes OpenAI, Microsoft, and SoftBank building AI supercomputers. And Microsoft alone is spending an estimated $80 billion just on AI-focused data centers in 2025.
$80 billion, the scale is just mind-boggling. Beyond those giants, though, what about the next layer down? What were the most interesting new companies or breakthrough ideas that got major funding this week? What does that tell us about where the next waves of innovation might be heading?
That's where you see the market's true diversity starting to emerge. It's not just the big model makers. For instance, Vellum, They raised $20 million Series A. Their focus is helping enterprises build and deploy AI products faster. They claim to cut deployment time by 60%.
Tools for the builders.
Exactly. Then there's Genesis AI, secured a huge 105 million seed round. They're building a general purpose AI model for robots. Big push in Europe for robotics.
Okay, robots.
And Harmonic, valued at $900 million already. They got a $100 million Series B for their AI mathematician called Aristotle, designed to solve incredibly complex math problems that humans struggle with.
An AI mathematician. It's genuinely wild, like proving theorems.
That seems to be the ambition, yeah. Solving really hard, abstract problems. We also saw Lovable, we talked about last week. They are a no-code AI app builder. They got a $150 million growth round. They hit $75 million in annual recurring revenue in under 8 months.
Wow.
And from the UAE, Expansio raised $250 million. Their valuation is about $1.4 billion. Their goal, AI-powered smart contact lenses aiming to replace smartphones and VR headsets entirely.
Wait, AI smart contact lenses replacing smartphones? I mean, who needs to pull out their phone when your eyeball could just show you the weather or directions?
It's like something out of science fiction. The ultimate wearable, perhaps. And finally, on the infrastructure side again, AI chipmaker Grok. Not Grok the model, but Grok the chip company.
Right, the fast chip guys.
Them. They're planning to raise around $305 billion, and they have a substantial 1.5 million commitment lined up from Saudi Arabia for their ultra-fast AI chips.
More huge infrastructure bets.
Yep. So what this entire wave of investment signals really is a maturing market. Foundational models still draw enormous sums, obviously, but there's a really strong second wave of investment now in applications, in agents, in the underlying infrastructure that supports it all. And it reflects a significant shift in enterprise strategy from build it yourself to buy it off the shelf. Companies are increasingly acquiring AI solutions rather than developing everything in-house.
And that kind of money flow naturally leads to this intense battle for the brilliant minds behind it all. And Meta is continuing to poach top talent from the major AI houses. AI Talent Wars, episode 10.
Definitely. This is one eye-popping story this week. Meta reportedly poached an Apple AI engineer, Ru Ming Peng, with a package worth over $200 million, multi-year deal.
Salary, huge signing bonuses, massive equity tighter performance, long-term contracts, the works. And Peng wasn't just anyone. He led Apple's foundation models team, responsible for stuff like Genmoji, those AI emojis Apple's working on, and making Siri smarter. Meta Superintelligence Lab is just aggressively hoovering up talent.
We now have a huge Meta roster from other companies. Nat Friedman, Daniel Gross, Alexander Wang, co-founder of Scale AI that we discussed a few weeks ago. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman has openly criticized Meta's tactics. Meta has already hired over 10 researchers just from OpenAI.
The implication is crystal clear. AI talent is now maybe the most valuable commodity in the global job market, completely resetting pay scales everywhere.
Wow. How much will Meta's or AI products in general have to cost as the end of this? And beyond these huge individual hires, we're seeing massive mergers and acquisitions too, big companies swallowing others. What does this kind of rapid consolidation mean for the competitive landscape? Is it good, bad?
It's definitely reshaping things fast. This week saw several big moves. Capgemini bought WNS for $3.3 billion. That's a major AI and analytics services merger bundling capabilities. Google made headlines hiring the Windsurf team. It was an IP deal, $2.4 billion, licensing AI code tech and bringing key people to DeepMind. Basically, an acqui-hire, but on yet another unprecedented scale. CoreWeave bought Core Scientific for $9 billion. That solidifies their position in the critical AI infrastructure's race, the plumbing. And there are these persistent rumors about Amazon, maybe increasing its multi-billion-dollar stake in Anthropic. The implications are, well, they're complex. Rapid consolidation means more powerful, integrated solutions for users, which sounds good.
Right.
But it could also limit your choices as a customer, limit vendor choice, maybe even slow down truly disruptive innovation long term if big players just absorb all the interesting startups. Regulators are definitely watching all this very closely for potential antitrust issues.
Okay, so as these AI capabilities just explode, the legal and ethical questions get bigger too. Let's dive into the game changing legal precedents being set recently, starting with what we're calling the copyright crossroads.
Yeah, this week brought some really critical rulings on fair use, pivotal for anyone developing AI. Basically, AI companies scored big wins in two cases, Bart's v. Anthropic on June 24 and Cadre v. Meta on June 25th. In both, courts granted summary judgment for the AI developers. They found that using copyrighted books for training large language models, LLMs, was fair use. The key factors were transformative use, meaning the AI was creating a new tool, not just copying or replacing the original books, and the effect on the potential market. And the courts rejected this idea that the authors could sort of monopolize a market for training data.
Yeah. But Judge Alsop, in the Anthropic case, threw a really critical line. He said, look, lawfully acquired works, that's fair use. But using pirated content, that would be clear copyright infringement.
Yeah, so that creates this huge compliance burden. You have to prove where your training data came from.
And just to add a little legal uncertainty, Judge Shabria in the Meta case found that even if some works were illicitly obtained, it didn't necessarily weigh against fair use. So there's still some disagreement there.
But the fight isn't over. There's this looming shadow from a really high-profile case, New York Times v. OpenAI.
What makes that one different? Why is everyone watching so closely?
Well, that case is strategically different and potentially more dangerous for AI developers. It focuses less on the training process itself and more on the model's outputs. The New York Times claims the AI is spitting out verbatim chunks of their articles, essentially bypassing their paywall.
Ah, okay.
They also claim violations under the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, the DMCA, alleging that copyright info, like author names or links, was illegally removed or altered during training. And those DMCA claims have been allowed to proceed by the court. The implication is pretty significant. This case directly challenges that transformative use defense that was so key in the California cases. It suggests that if the AI's output directly competes with or infringes on the original work, maybe fair use doesn't apply.
So, if I'm getting this right, we have some clarity on fair use for training, maybe. But a huge question mark still hanging over what the AI models actually produce. What does all this legal fog mean for the future of AI development?
It seems to be leading towards what you might call the two-tier AI economy. Tier one, you got the big incumbents, OpenAI, Google, Apple, Meta, xAI, and the like. They can pour billions into directly licensing content and building sophisticated technical guardrails to stop regurgitation.
It's a really capital intensive strategy, basically, to ensure they're legally compliant and have access to clean data.
Right, pay your way out of trouble. Then there's Tier 2, smaller startups. They could face a much tighter choice. Either take big legal risks using questionable data, or build less capable models using only clearly open source data, or maybe pivot to really niche applications that don't need massive general purpose training data. Essentially, the ability to afford clean data and navigate all the legal compliance stuff. That's becoming a major competitive advantage, especially when considering the multi-state policies in the US and global compliance. It could widen the gap between the AI haves and have-nots.
This legal uncertainty here in the US creates a very real dilemma for companies, especially the smaller ones. But this isn't just a domestic US challenge, is it? Globally, we're seeing a stark divide emerge in AI adoption and investment, encapsulated by what's being called the 1% problem.
Yes, the 1% problem. The reality that the Global South receives less than 1% of all global AI funding.
An enormous imbalance with huge implications.
So, what's being done, or at least debated, to address this?
Several ideas are on the table. Shifting towards patient capital models, funding with longer, maybe 7 to 10 year horizons.
Yeah.
Using metrics like social return on investment, not just financial, also blended finance, where public funds de risk private investments in developing economies, make it more attractive for VCs.
Trying to make the economics work for investing in the Global South.
Right.
And there's also a strategic debate on the best path forward for these nations. Should they try to build their own local innovation capacity, focus on digital sovereignty? Should they buy technology through transfers from developed nations? Or pursue a third path, perhaps leveraging open source AI models?
Build, buy, or open source. Interesting strategic choices.
And the UNCTAD, the UN trade body, is advocating for an AI for all approach, pushing for a global framework to address these disparities.
Building infrastructure in the past, but now it's AI infrastructure.
Exactly. It's a powerful new form of infrastructure for the 21st century, who helps build and ultimately controls the global AI future.
Fascinating. Beyond the funding and access issues, what other regulatory moves caught your eye this week? Things impacting how AI is developed and used.
Several interesting ones, actually. The EU rolled out a voluntary AI Code of Practice. It's a precursor to their big, comprehensive AI Act becoming fully enforceable. Covers things like transparency, copyright handling, risk management, sort of a best practices guide for now.
Okay, the EU continuing to lead on AI regulation.
Right. And Denmark is proposing a specific deep fake ban law. It would grant individuals property like rights over their own likeness, making it illegal to share AI-generated images or videos of someone without their explicit consent.
Property rights for your own face. This is where we are. Well, that's a strong protection against deepfakes.
It is, and notably, OpenAI announced a delay in releasing its next big open source model. CEO Sam Altman cited the need for extensive safety testing, and he mentioned the irreversible nature of publishing model weights. Once they're out, they're out.
So even the leaders are grappling with the safety implications of releasing powerful open models.
It shows a level of caution, perhaps, or at least awareness of the dual-use risks.
Okay, let's touch on just a few more fascinating developments. I saw some new models, capabilities, and research advances announced that really caught my eye.
Absolutely, absolutely. Quick hits here. xAI's Grok 4 debuted. It's a new model aiming to rival GPT-4. They say it has stronger logical reasoning, a big 256,000 token context window, meaning it can process way more text at once. It's fully multimodal, handles images, generates visuals, can even tackle complex analytical tasks like interpreting diagrams of black hole collisions. There are two versions, standard Grok 4 at $30 a month, and then a premium Grok 4 Heavy, which is $300 a month.
Heavy. What makes it heavy?
It uses a multi-agent architecture, so multiple AI is collaborating on reasoning.
Okay. Like a team of AI.
Kind of. And they're not stopping. They tease a really aggressive roadmap, specialized coding assistant in August, multimodal AI agent in September, video generating model in October. They're moving fast.
From a performance perspective, as of today, Grok 4 is the smartest model. It actually outperformed Gemini Pro and OpenAI's O3 model on a benchmark called Humanity's Last Exam, which tests broad knowledge and reasoning.
So that's a significant step in the model race. We also saw Google rolling out its Gemini AI to Wear OS smartwatches with Circle to search. Makes AI search just a gesture on your wrist. Pretty neat. And for creative AI, Google also unveiled VO3. It takes a single image and turns it into a dynamic video clip, keeping character consistency. They said over 40 million clips were generated just in the beta.
Wow, 40 million?
Yeah. Kling.ai's K2 2.1 came out. next-gen image generation, supposedly better prompt following more cinematic visuals. It can even add text into images accurately, like on signs. We saw a flurry of updates in specialized use cases, and they highlight a clear trend. Specialized AI applications can be the next wave. Google's pushing Gemini into everyday devices, Wear OS, smartwatches, even Google Classroom.
AI in the classroom.
While OpenAI is hinting at education too with its new Study Together feature in beta. Anthropic's Claude 4, it's doubling down on complex, multi-step, agentic tasks for businesses. Things like extended thinking and parallel tool use aimed squarely at enterprise workflows.
That makes sense. So not just general intelligence, but really targeted, powerful applications powered by focused general intelligence. Any other highlights from that burst of innovation?
Oh, absolutely. You saw Microsoft's Copilot adding context IQ?
Context.
Yeah. It's their intelligence layer. Helps Copilot understand and pull in relevant info from across your Microsoft apps like lists, Teams channels, documents. Makes it more aware of your work context.
Got it, more integrated.
Exactly. Meta AI launched a standalone Llama 4 app. It's got social feed integration and full duplex speech technology.
Full duplex meaning?
It's like ChatGPT's advanced voice mode. The assistant can listen and speak at the same time. Makes conversations feel much more natural, less like using a walkie-talkie.
And Mistral released DevStroll 2507. It's a code-centric model. Hit 53.6% on SWE-bench.
SWE bench, remind us.
It's a tough benchmark. Tests an AI's ability to solve real-world software engineering problems, bugs, and feature requests. So 53.6% is a highly competitive score. Shows real progress in automated coding.
Okay, so coding AI is a serious focus across the board.
For sure, the big picture, deep integration into workflows, niche mastery in areas like coding, and the growing power of open source alternatives is gaining traction. But sometimes the biggest insights aren't just new tools, but understanding how this stuff actually learns. Let's pivot. This phase transition breakthrough, why is that such a big deal for understanding AI?
Yeah, this was a really pivotal research finding. Researchers discovered that neural networks, as they train, go through this abrupt phase transition. Think of it like water suddenly turning into steam. Initially, the AI just processes syntactic patterns like word order, grammar rules, surface stuff. But after it consumes enough data, boom, it suddenly shifts into a new phase where it starts grasping semantic meaning. It actually starts to understand language beyond just the patterns. It's crucial because it helps explain why these models suddenly show these surprising emerging capabilities like common sense or complex problem solving that nobody explicitly programmed in.
Yeah. Continuing to resolve how AI can grow into complex reasoning and learns.
On the other end, from Tokyo, Sakana AI is driving a really interesting paradigm shift. They're directly challenging that bigger is always better ethos that has dominated AI development for years.
The scaling laws obsession.
Exactly. They're using nature-inspired research instead, like their ABM-CTS,
ABMCTS? What's that stand for?
Adaptive Branching Monte Carlo Tree Search. It's a technique. It enables multiple diverse frontier AI models, like different versions of GPT, Gemini, DeepSeek, to collaborate, to work together as a dream team on really complex problems.
Coordinating different models, like the Grok heavy idea, but maybe more flexible?
Possibly. And this collaborative approach, it achieved over 30% success on the really challenging ARC AGI 2 benchmark.
30%. How's that compare?
Better than the best individual model approach, which only got 23% success. So the team outperformed the individual star.
Collaboration beat brute force in this case.
Seems so. And Sakana AI even released the underlying framework as an open source project called TreeQuest.
Open sourcing the collaboration method. Interesting.
Yeah, and in a separate line of research, they introduced the Darwin-Goodall machine, DGM.
Darwinism for AI. Sounds intense.
It is. It's a system capable of improving itself by recursively rewriting its own code. It uses foundation models to propose potential code improvements. And then it uses principles of Darwinian evolution, survival of the fittest code, to test and select only the most effective modifications.
So, an AI that evolves itself to be better at its task? That's profound.
It really is. It's AI self-improvement in action.
That's a truly mind-bending idea. And speaking of AIs interacting, we also saw the emergence of what you might call strategic AI through a fascinating prisoner's dilemma study.
Yes, the game theory classic.
Right. Researchers pitted different major AI models against each other over 140,000 rounds of the game to see how they behave, cooperate, or betray.
What did they find out about how these different AIs strategize?
The results were quite revealing. They showed distinct, coherent strategies emerging from the different models. Google's Gemini models, for instance, were described as ruthlessly adaptive. They quickly learned to either exploit a cooperative opponent or cooperate with a reciprocal one. Very tit for tat.
Okay, pragmatic and adaptable. What about OpenAI?
OpenAI's models, interestingly, tended to be cooperative even when exploited. They often stuck to a collaborative strategy even when their opponent was consistently betraying them.
More optimistic or naive?
Or perhaps just programmed with a stronger cooperative prior. In Anthropic's Claude models, they were described as the most forgiving. They would often return to cooperation even after being betrayed multiple times.
So, Gemini, the strategist, GPT, the cooperator, Claude, the forgiver?
In very broad strokes, yes. It's like they develop these consistent behavioral profiles or personalities within the game's context.
That's incredible. It's like watching rudimentary social dynamics emerge. What does this tell us about the future of AI operating in complex environments with other AIs or humans?
Well, it proves, first off, that large language models can model opponents. They can calculate probabilities, assess risks, and execute consistent long-term strategies based on those assessments.
They're not just responding randomly, they're planning.
Exactly. And that's a critical step toward truly autonomous agents that can operate effectively in complex multi-agent environments like the real world. It even opens the door, as the researchers suggested, to using AI agents as virtual laboratories. Imagine testing economic theories or social dynamics or even diplomatic strategies in large-scale simulations run by these strategic AIs.
Simulating economies or international relations with AI agents.
It makes you reflect, doesn't it? How human interactions with all their nuances of trust, betrayal, and cooperation are now being modeled and maybe even understood in diplomacy. They're truly profound.
Wow, what a week it's really been. We've seen AI developments go absolutely hypersonic, from the escalating model wars in that new browser battlefield to record-breaking investments and the urgent calls for legal clarity and regulation.
A real whirlwind.
So, wrapping things up, as we've seen this week, there's this really clear divergence happening in global AI strategies in there. You've got Western firms consolidating power through massive investments, acquisitions, while China's pushing more open source alternatives, and the global South is really advocating hard for more equitable access and digital sovereignty.
This week really just underscored the incredible breadth of what's happening in AI. Everything from autonomous agents taking over our browsers and business workflows to these multi-million-dollar talent deals, completely reshaping compensation, complex legal battles, setting seemingly conflicting precedents, and these urgent global policy debates trying to figure out how to share AI's benefits fairly.
Yeah, and if we connect all that to the bigger picture, the sheer speed of change just means we're constantly redefining what AI even is.
And as we close out, here's a final provocative thought for you to maybe chew on until next time. Will collaboration or control determine the next era of AI power? And who ultimately holds the keys? I'm Caitlin. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe.
And I'm James. Thanks for tuning into your weekly AI Market Brief. As always, our mission is to bring you clarity and unique insights in this incredibly fast-moving landscape.